for me, I love walking. I love getting outside. Like, it does put me in a better mood. If that's your situation too, then it might be good. Like, rather than sitting inside or sitting cooped up in the house and arguing, like, let's go on a walk, right? Let's clear our head spaces a little bit and let's talk while we're walking. Or again, maybe it's, I'm getting frustrated in this moment. Let me go on a walk to cool off, clear my head, figure out how to gather my thoughts so that I can bring them back in a cool, collected manner. Yeah. I feel like those can be good ways to handle an argument coming on.
Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at the M4 Show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Welcome back, beautiful people. Thank y'all for tapping in. My name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And of course, I have with me the beautiful, the lockalicious, the smiling queen herself. Introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Yeah. All that good stuff. So we had a very interesting, I think, month.
As we usually do.
Very, very interesting month. But I think the month made me very grateful for the queen, for our relationship, for our marriage, which also got me doing a little bit of research. Mm-hmm. And I was, just researching what are some tips, what are some things that people are saying about marriage. And I came across an article on Ebony. And I basically brought that article to the podcast so that we can break it down. Let's get it. So just so y'all know, we have not gone through this complete article yet.
Just looked at it right now.
The queen just looked at it right now. So it's going to be real fresh reactions. And the article is Ebony #Black Love 5 tips that will transform your relationship. And if y'all been rocking with us for a while, you know that the M4 Show, we do a nice blend of both love, relationship, marriage, and wealth building, brand building, real estate investment, all that good stuff. And I feel like it's been a couple episodes since we really focused on the love side. The love side. Yes, thank you for the warm caress of my cheeks, Sinclair. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So, Queen, as we go through these, I want you to see, one, do we do these? Mm-hmm. And then 2, are these actually good tips or not? All respect to Ebony as a brand, as a company, but an individual wrote this. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see how in alignment these tips actually work, specifically maybe for couplepreneurs. Right.
Okay, so I think from
the lens of how we operate as a couple that also operates and is building a business together. If you're listening, you're a couple, whether y'all have separate businesses or you have a business together, sometimes the relationship works different because you're in business together.
Yes.
Right.
I almost hesitate to say almost always it's going to change the dynamic of the relationship.
For sure. So we're going to go through it with that lens, and we might have to write a separate blog for like 5 tips for a successful couplepreneur or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. But tip number 1, Sinclair, is remember why you fell in love. Oh, all that. So remember why you fell in love, and they did have a little bit of an excerpt after that as well. If we can get that on the screen, and Sinclair will use her amazing eyes to read it.
In the midst of daily routines, don't forget what made your partner stand out initially. Don't settle for mediocrity now.
Ooh, that's good. So, Sinclair, for tip number 1, remember why you fell in love. 1, is that a good tip?
Oh, yeah. I think that's a good tip for any couple. Because I feel like as life changes, as you grow and mature, with life's inevitable changes, I think it can be easy to just get swept up in what life is bringing you. And so I think remembering like what brought y'all together is important, because that's always going to be there.
Right.
With all of life's changes, whatever brought you to that person, hopefully, as long as they haven't changed, it's still going to be there.
As long as they haven't switched up on you.
Right. And all of those things are still going to be there. So you got to kind of like get rid of some of the noise, block out some of the noise sometimes. I don't know why this is blocking out noise.
I don't know.
This is like
either.
airbending. You got to black out the noise sometimes and really just like zoom in on like, this is the same person. Like, what did I find interesting about them? Why did I fall in love with them in the first place? And hopefully it still makes you fall in love with them.
Again.
And hopefully you didn't start to switch up either.
Right. I think something else that's great is when you go down memory lane and you think about those memories, hopefully it literally forces you to smile. Like, I don't know if I can go back and think about knock-proof windows or think about me wanting to be a bee so I can smell the flowers that are on your dress. Right. Buzz. I feel like we can't think about those memories without smiling, without laughing, which helps us then fall in love all over again. So yeah, highly recommend. I like that tip. Well done, Ebony. Starting off with a banger.
Starting off strong.
Right. Remember why you fell in love, because obviously with life, there's times where you get really busy in business, get really busy in life. And sometimes it can be not a situation where you forget, but a situation to where the present overshadows the past. Right. You just want to make sure you bring those nice memories back to the present as often as you can.
And I think this is especially important for couplepreneurs, because now you've got an additional layer on top of the relationship. So, right, you're not only my husband, but you're also the business partner. So I feel like, especially when on our busy times, when we are spending more time in that work mode, I feel like you're my business partner first in that mode, my husband's second. Whereas like when we're at home, when we're about to enjoy our miches right after this, right, you're going to be my husband and my business partner second. But I feel like that kind of changes depending on what we're doing. So I feel like, again, if you're in that busy time, it can be, I think, even easier to get lost in the sauce. And, I think it's just especially important for couplepreneurs that have that extra layer on their relationship to remember why you initially fell in love.
For sure. Queen.
King.
Sorry, this is on my head. I have to say it. I don't think there's a time where you're my business partner first, or where I treat you as my business partner first. And if there is, let me know. But I feel like I'm always approaching, well, okay, she's your wife. No, don't say it like that. That will get you in trouble. Say it like this instead, or just the way that I approach things is, okay, that's your wife, that's your partner. She also works with you. She's also your business partner. So like, I feel like that's usually my dynamic. But if I'm wrong, let me know.
I think maybe the only time would be like on meetings with other people who may not know our dynamic. I feel like we don't hide it, definitely, but it's not necessarily like when we're just meeting people. It's not like, oh, hey, that's my husband, that's my wife. Like, we're just colleagues at that time. Yeah. So I feel like that's maybe a time, if we had more meetings like that, if we were doing more of that, then I think it would be that. Yeah. But right now, like, pretty much we're like, bless you.
Oh, that was a powerful sneeze.
Indeed. Like I said, we're pretty open about, husband and wife and being that couplepreneur. Like even when we were just at Bakersfield, or presenting for Bakersfield College, like you led with like, this is my wife, right, and my business partner, we're doing this together, and I like that. But yeah, that's not everybody's dynamic. So for folks out there who may be very business oriented, maybe you're in an office, maybe you've I think that the fact that we work from home definitely, I think, it helps. Right. So if you've got a different type of dynamic, I think it's even more important for you.
Okay. Are you ready for number 2?
Yes.
Can you pull up number 2?
Yes.
And read it for the beautiful people.
Number 2, replace arguments with experiences.
Interesting. Replace arguments with experiences. What's the context that they give for that one?
When tension rises, travel and a change of scenery can bring clarity and calm, aiding in finding solutions.
So I want to know your thoughts on this before I go.
Okay. Replace arguments with experiences. I guess I'm having a hard time figuring out how that works in real life.
I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to burst your bubble because I thought you might like this. Because trips, we can go on vacation. But yeah, in real life, like Devon, take out the trash. No. All right, let's go to Mexico.
Trash is still there.
Right, like I feel like that is a unhealthy way of going about it. One, it's very expensive. If every time you're about to get in an argument, you say, okay, let's not argue. Let's go to Lake Tahoe. Let's go to Ensenada. Let's go to Ghana.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of money on trips, right?
If that's why you're doing it.
If that's why you're doing it. And then number two, you're never actually coming up with a solution. You're just avoiding an issue repeatedly. So yeah, you know what? I don't like that one. I'm not gonna front. I don't like that one. Y'all
because
let me
it
know
literally
what
says
thinking.
anytime you feel an argument coming on, take a trip. Yeah, that feels like escapism.
100%.
It definitely feels like escapism. Like if you feel an argument coming on, there's a reason why, and you need to address the issue. Otherwise, it's just going to fester. So we're all for trips. We're all for trips, but those trips should be when you're in cohesion. Those trips should be right. You're just wanting to go do something, get more experiences, not necessarily to replace arguments. Now, I will say we don't argue very often. So there's also not a whole lot to.
I disagree. We argue all the time.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, I just feel like there's I don't think that's the full picture here. I think there's a better way to go about that.
So would you recommend when there's an argument, don't argue, but address the issue and come to a solution?
Now, what you could do is like when you feel an argument come on, maybe there is something else you can do, right? Maybe to like cool off. Maybe you go take a walk, right? Together or separately. But maybe that's what you do. Like if you know that, like for me, I love walking. I love getting outside. Like it does put me in a better mood. If that's your situation too, then it might be good. Like rather than sitting inside or sitting cooped up in the house and arguing, like let's go on a walk. Right? Let's clear our head spaces a little bit and let's talk while we're walking. Or again, maybe it's I'm getting frustrated in this moment. Let me go on a walk to cool off, clear my head, figure out how to gather my thoughts so that I can bring them back in a cool, collected manner.
Yeah.
I feel like those can be good ways to handle an argument coming on. But not just avoiding it altogether, but yeah, maybe you do this one thing, right? Maybe you start off with a hug, right? So that, like even if you're arguing
first, they're sweet,
then they're sour, right? But maybe just so that you realize, like, even though you're arguing, like there's always love there. That's always at the foundation, right? So there's, I think, still things you can do to soften the blow of an argument or to improve the state of an argument or how it will turn out, but avoiding it is definitely not one of them.
Yeah, I like a few things that you said in there. One, I like the hug, whether it's before the discussion or argument or after, like that's the close of it. Boom, let's go ahead and embrace, let's hug it out so we both see and feel that we love each other. And then I also like the walk. We've had a lot of difficult, interesting conversations while walking. And if you're going to get in an argument, you might as well burn some calories while you do it.
Might as well.
Might as well stay fit, stay looking good while you're arguing.
We've had the walks together and we've had a couple walks separate. But I think like that, I do like that aspect. And I think in general, like that's one thing that I like to do is just like get out of the space in general when I'm feeling icky, like whether it's a walk or even like back in college, I used to get in my car and just drive because I was living with other people. So I was like, I just need to be by myself. So I would just get in the car and just drive around. So I think I'm not mad at that at all. I think just you have to find what's going to work for you. So find what is going to resonate with you. Maybe you go to a place that you both, again, like as calming. I feel like the environment and how you feel are two, I think, important factors that you should consider before starting an argument or going into an argument, right? If you're in a hostile environment or if you got the kids running around and it's crazy, that's probably not the time to address it because you're going to address it with aggression or emotionally. Or again, if you are just feeling like if the emotions are at their peak, that's not the time, right? You gotta cool off a little bit, let logic set in, right? Because I think when we go into an argument when emotions are at our peak. You may say things you regret. You may do things you regret when reacting emotionally. Of course, I'm the health nerd, so I always like to come from. I touched on my shirt.
Are you holding a baby? What are you doing?
Anyways, showing my shirt. Like when emotions are high, when you're in that like fight or flight mode, the reasoning, the logic, the decision making kind of goes backseat, and we go into survival mode. And what your body or what you may do in that stance, in that situation, may not be what's best, and it may be something you regret later on. So again, I think, and we put this into practice too, like, you know, if something happens, like, cool off, go on a walk, then come back and discuss your feelings, because I think that's when you're going to actually get down to the root and not just react.
There it is. A lot of good stuff. So, you know, so far we got one hitter,
we're at a 50%.
50% so far. All right, number 3, activate the youth in you. All right, number 3, activate the youth in you. I'm liking it so far.
I like this one.
Let me see what the explanation is.
Embrace youthfulness within. Infuse playfulness in relationships and integrate fun amidst life's responsibilities for a fulfilling journey.
Yes.
Yes.
Love this. So, can you give one, maybe 2 examples of how you feel like, or one, do you think we use this in our relationship?
I do.
Okay. How? I mean, I can go first while you think. One is, I would say, we have like this random dance sessions, right? Whether it's some oldies or whether it's some new stuff. We gonna be dancing in this house, in this kitchen, in this porch, in this living room, in the office. We like
bathroom,
to dance.
It doesn't matter. All the rooms getting the moves.
We're dancing. And I think that kind of goes back to some college memories where we first met. We were dancing with each other. So I feel like that keeps the youthful energy, keeps the reason why we fell in love with each other, because we can have fun.
Right.
Another one, we go to concerts, go to comedy clubs. Like, all these are ways that we keep the youthful spirit alive, despite what all the Play Black Wall Street team members say about me. I'm still young. You know,
nothing will humble you more than getting around some young folks.
Some young people. Goodness. But Queen, talk to me your side. What are ways that you feel like we are tapping into that youth?
I think that travel. And I think that's part of why I like to travel, because you are discovering a new place. And I feel like, think about it, as a kid, that's what you're doing all the time.
Whoa.
Right? Everything is new because you don't have a lot of experiences, right? As a baby, literally everything is new. You get a toddler, right? But you're just building your repertoire of experiences, but because you don't have a lot, there's so many new things you're experiencing. So I feel like it feels adventurous. It feels like, ooh, this is cool. Oh man. So I like that aspect of travel. Every time we go to a new place, right, I feel like we're kind of like, wow, this is cool. Why don't you see that? Oh, whoa. So I feel like that's definitely one way we keep the youthfulness alive, and one way I would like to continue to keep the youthfulness alive.
All right, so let's continue to travel, continue to dance, continue to go to comedy shows, just do stuff.
Yes. Ooh, comedy shows. That's good.
All right, cool. All right, number 3. We like number 3. We like number 3.
Yes.
Number 4. Actually, I think this is a good time to take a pause. We see you, Jair. Jair was quick with it, right? We see you. I think this is a good time. I think it's a good time to take a quick little pause, hear from our sponsor for the day. When we come back, we will get into number 4 and number 5. Hopefully y'all are taking notes. We will be right back. Look, we're going to get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode. All right. Welcome back, y'all. We are going through the 5 tips from Ebony magazine to have a successful marriage. Tip number 1, we agreed with, right? Tip number 1 was remember why you fell in love. We were like, yes, that's good. Tip number 2 was replace arguments with experiences. Queen, how we feel about that one? No, we were not vibing with that one. It gets expensive and it avoids the issue. Tip number 3 was activate your youth. And we like that one as well. That one's good. Keeps you young, keeps you in love, keeps you laughing. We like that. Tip number 4 is commit to not just your mate, but their evolution. I'm liking the way this is sounding, right? Don't just commit to who they are right now, but also commit to their continuous evolution. But let's dive deeper into it.
Yes. So committing to a relationship means embracing not just the person, but their growth. Supporting their positive evolution strengthens the bond. Like that.
I like this one. I like this one a lot. Because I think it goes to show that when you're in this marriage, it's not what's the right word for it? It's like you're accountability partners for each other.
Yeah.
Right. So if my wife says she wants to write a book, my wife says she wants to start Muay Thai, my wife says she wants to start drinking water and smoothies for lunch, whatever it is, it's up to me as her partner to also hold her accountable and help her grow to achieve the dreams and aspirations that she wants. Yeah, I think that's crucial, especially in a couplepreneur relationship. Yes. But I think for any marriage, it's powerful.
Yeah, I think, like you said, especially in a couplepreneur, because I think personal development, personal growth is a natural part of being an entrepreneur in general. I think it's almost a requirement to be a successful entrepreneur is to continue to grow. So I think in any relationship, you're not just, or let's talk about marriage. I think in any marriage, you're not just marrying the person right now. You're also marrying who they're to become. Right. So I think it's important, one, when you're evaluating, when you're deciding on who's going to be that person, right, you need to also think about, like, what is their trajectory? And am I still going to be in love with the person that they are likely to become based on their trajectory right now?
How do you get nerdy a little bit? How do you calculate, or how do you envision someone's trajectory?
I think you have to spend enough time with them to see where it's going. So, like, right, when I met you, one, based on what you told me, I can already tell that I already knew that you were on the up, right? You were growing.
How'd you know that?
Because you told me.
I told you that I was growing?
That your troubles of high school were behind you.
I see.
So that told me already, if you're already, for me, a person you just met, you're willing to make some changes, right? And you're and that was, I feel like that wasn't, I don't know how that was all me. Like, I feel like you were just already growing, right, and maturing, coming into that next step. So that already, I think, showed me that you're growing, right? Your trajectory is going in this way. And then obviously spending time with you, seeing how you invested in yourself, seeing how your dedication, seeing your maturity was was definitely a turn on for me.
Well then.
Yeah. That was definitely something that made me like, okay, like, this is someone who can challenge you. And I feel like for me, that was huge, because yeah, I'm just like, I know I'm going places. I don't know exactly where, but
I'm going though.
I'm going somewhere. And I feel like he can come along with me and actually challenge me to go even further than I thought. So yeah, I feel like, one, you have to pay attention. You have to know somebody long enough to see, again, what is their trajectory? Are they a person that, they're just probably going to stay even keel right here? Or is it like, I don't know, I see some habits brewing up that I didn't see before. Like, they might be on this decline. I don't know if I want to be around for that. Or again, is it like, okay, I see them investing, they're listening to podcasts, they're reading books, they're doing all of these things, they care about their body, right? They are destined to growth. So I don't know if that answered your question.
That did answer my question, but of course it led to another question,
Of
Sinclair.
course.
You said something about like, oh, he can challenge me.
Mm-hmm.
Break that down a little bit, or go one more layer deeper. What does that word of challenge mean, or what did it mean for you as a 18-year-old, 17-year-old getting into a relationship thinking this person can challenge me, which seems like a negative thing? Why was that a positive frame for you in a relationship and a partner?
I feel like in general, the conversations we were having when we met let me know that you were different.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, when you talk to somebody and you like how you were just like, and they're just like, you're talking to them and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, it's dope. Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. Like, I feel like at the end of that conversation, you're just gonna be like, okay. Like they just kind of agreed with everything I said. There wasn't a whole lot of back and forth. Whereas I feel like conversations with you have always been like, I'll say something and you're like, but why?
That's a fact.
And you're like, no, that doesn't make sense. Explain that. Right. And I feel like I like that. That is something I feel like I just recognized early on and was like, oh,
And you like the challenge.
yeah. Cause I'm just like, okay, well, let me think about this.
Mm.
And I feel like me having to do that was me growing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I liked it. Is like, okay, I don't know that I had before meeting you, I had experienced a partner who was
Disagreeing of you?
who challenged me.
No one ever disagreed with Queen Sinclair before me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I did not disagree, but just challenged me.
Gotcha.
So I felt like, yeah, who like when we talk, it's just like, that really gives me something to think about. That challenges my way of thinking. It didn't just confirm my way of thinking, it challenges me and almost makes me want to think differently. Right. And I feel like that to me is the challenge that I want. Not necessarily like I don't want to feel brainwashed, right? That's not what I'm talking about. It's
Are you sure?
not the way you said that. Are you sure?
Are you positive?
Are you positive?
Listen
you do
closely.
not want to
Listen to the bell.
But yeah, I feel like sometimes again when you talk to people, it's just a confirmation of things you already know. Those can still be good conversations, but I feel like they're not as impactful as ones where you talk to someone and it's like, that's a very different way than I was thinking before. Yeah. I feel like it like fires off new neuro pathways and yeah, I think it literally starts to change you as a human being. So I feel like I felt that early on, and even in our conversations, like sitting at Baja Fresh,
for sure.
Baja Fresh, like just laughing and yeah, I've always felt that with you.
First unofficial date, in case you are wondering, Baja Fresh, that food's not even that good. Yeah, it's not. Whatever, but it was our first like unofficial one-on-one little dinner date situation. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got her set up real quick.
Anyways,
but I asked the challenge question because I think for number 4, when you commit to your mate's evolution, if you're committing to someone's personal growth, like their growth, you also are basically committing to your own growth as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what a lot of people are afraid of, and maybe I'll speak I statement. I think sometimes what I used to be afraid of is if I help you be the best version of you that you can possibly be, does that make you then too good for me? Like, will your growth outgrow me to a point where you're like, you know what? I don't need Devon anymore. Like, I'm a great entrepreneur. I have all these books. I'm loving myself. I'm the best person that I can ever be. Devon, he's not cutting it. Right. And I think that could be a fear for a lot of people to why they don't help their partner become the best. Cause they're like, if you become your best, that forces me to become my best. And I don't know if I'm ready to become my best.
That's deep.
Yeah. Too deep for this podcast? Talk to me.
No, not too deep. I'm just like, there's a lot to unpack there. Cause I feel like if that's your mindset, I don't want to say the issue. The concern is you.
Right. But like, we've talked to people like that. Like, we've had conversations with someone, not going to mention their name, but they were trying to start their business. They were trying to get off the ground, but their partner was not willing to help at all and was actually discouraging them from being an entrepreneur. And then eventually they left each other. Right. And I think that story is semi-common, right? Like one person in the relationship is going to the Eric Thomas conferences, they're going to Invest Fest, they're really putting themselves out there, they're dressing up, they're doing all these things, but their partner's not. And not only are they not in those spaces, but they're So, oh, why are you doing all that stuff? That's not going to work. Or why are you doing that business? You know, you can't do this. And like they're downing their partner. Unfortunately, I think that's more common than the committing to their evolution.
Yeah, sadly, that's probably true. And I think that that's I'll call it a yellow flag.
A yellow. Okay.
It's pretty. I mean, I was trying to like, I don't know, red flag. I should stay away from putting it like, you don't need to sound the alarm necessarily, but I think it's a yellow flag of if you are doing stuff to improve and your partner is not willing to do those things with you. It doesn't have to be the exact things, but if you notice that they're not interested in it, personal growth, I think once it starts to affect you, I think then you have to have the conversation of, hey, I'm doing these things for this purpose, right? To better me, and that's going to affect our family in these ways.
Right.
When you say these things, it makes me not want to do those things, and I can't help but wonder why my partner, right, someone who would love me, would not want to see me elevate to the next level. And I feel like if you have that conversation again, if you found that right partner, that person, they should be willing to at least see themselves a little bit, or at least question, like, dang, have I been a little bit harsh? Have I been this, right? And I'm saying this as a person, we haven't had that exact conversation, but we've had similar conversations in the past.
Yeah, talk to me.
I feel like at some point you were basically like, I don't necessarily need you to be an entrepreneur, but I need you to, this is not the way he said it, y'all, but this is, I'm gonna just say it how it's coming to my head, like
how you interpreted it.
Right. I need you to get out of the way though, if you don't want to be one, right? And so I feel like for me, I had a point where I'm either jumping on board or I'm completely getting out the way, but I'm not gonna stop you from doing what you need to do. And I feel like at some point I was trying to have so much quote unquote balance in our relationship, right? We need work hours. We need to not work on weekends. We need to do all these things. And I think that conversation made me realize that, like, you are stunting his growth as an entrepreneur, right? These things are necessary in this time that we're at. So get on board or get out the way. And I decided to get on board.
Well, we appreciate you on this train.
Thank you. But I feel like that may be a conversation. Like, again, we've had that that's what our conversation looked like for us. It may look different for you, but I feel like that is a conversation that needs to be had to get both people on the same wavelength. Again, whether it's let me do my thing and don't try to pull me down, or come along and do it with me, right? Either way, there needs to be that conversation had so that you can start seeing eye to eye.
For sure. Well done. That was a good breakdown. So number 4, we do like, right? It was the commit to not just your mate, but to their evolution. Right? We like number 4. Number 5, the last one in this journey. Queen, let us know what number 5 is.
Number 5, this is actually a great segue. Create a collective vision.
Approved.
Definitely like this one.
Well, we got to see what the full context is before we say.
You're right. All right, give it to us, Jade. Okay, so having a stake in something, whether a project or love, motivates you to give your best, emphasizing the value of teamwork and shared goals in relationships.
Boom. So I think our couplepreneurs, this is right in alignment with literally probably what you do every single day, right? You have your business, you have your hopefully company's mission, your company's vision, and as a collective, you are building what that looks like. But in addition to that, something that we do that I love is our 10-year vision in marriage, right? And we kind of go back to this 10-year vision every 6 months or so, and it's like, 10 years from, what was the year? 20 when we graduated, right? 2016.
Yeah.
So 10 years from 2016, in 2026, what we want to have accomplished as a married couple. What's the house look like? How many beautiful little melanated kids we have running around? What we doing for money? What's our real estate portfolio? Like, we have our collective marriage 10-year vision that we are looking at constantly. And then we have our end of the year, New Year's resolutions that we do, where we're looking at, okay, what's the goal for this year? What are the habits for this year, collectively and individually? So yeah, I really like that one. And I like how we approach that tip.
I think that this is important for every couple,
Mhm.
especially couplepreneurs. But even going back to any couple again, you need to see eye to eye. Again, whether both of you are entrepreneurs or just one of you, either way, if you are married, if you are a couple, then your destination is the same, right? It's you're still together in the future,
Mhm.
hopefully. So what that looks like, you need to be on the same page, right? As one person is trying to be nomads traveling around the world and the other person is trying to settle down and have a family,
Mm,
y'all need to be on the same page. Otherwise, you are inevitably going to butt heads and find different paths.
right.
And so I think it's important to figure out like what are your shared values, what are the where do you want to see yourself in the future, right? 10, 20 years to make sure that they align. I think that's like really important, like way before engagement, like marriage is even, I think, on the table is does this person have the same kind of future values, again,
Yeah.
vision than that I do. So yeah, I think it's important for every couple, especially like we said for entrepreneurs, because there's so many layers to the relationship, right? Again, you have your business. Hopefully your business lasts and is successful,
Facts.
right? But keep in mind, right? Not all businesses succeed. So you
Mm,
have to make sure that even if your business does not, you're still married at the end of the day, right? You're still
yeah.
together. So make sure you have that solid foundation, that the vision is not just reliant on the business, right? It should be, again, this is where we want to be. This is the type of house. This is
Mhm.
the lifestyle. We want kids. All of that can be regardless of how you're making money. So I think it's important to have a vision for, again, your life, your marriage, but and then separately also have kind of your business goals. I think they're all important. And I think, yeah, you are definitely going to benefit from having some regular check-in on that vision and make sure you're aligned with it. So whether it's once a quarter, once a year, we again have done it kind of around New Year's. That's just one of the
Yeah.
things we do. We've brought along other folks when we do it as well. But that's a natural reset, right? Every year, New Year's resolutions, right? All of these things, it's kind of a natural reset where you're already reflecting on the past and thinking about the future. So
Mm,
if you want a time to get it going, I think that that's a great time. Again, it can be around your anniversary, it can be um Valentine's Day, it can be literally whatever time you want, but I think it's good to start creating a habit, a yearly habit, a quarterly habit, whatever it's going to be, to start checking in with that vision and making sure it still makes sense for you and that you're on that path, you're on that trajectory.
for sure. And if you want our template for how we do that, I believe the template should still be on our website. If you go to the m4community.com, we have our 2022 workshop worksheet available for you. And that goes through like what are your top 3 goals for the year? What are your habits that you need to complete to get to that goal and other stuff as well. So m4community.com, head there and then go ahead and search for the what's it called? Empowerment pack or under construction?
Under construction workbook. So if you go to m4community.com, the resources tab, it is their under construction workbook 2020 for $2.
$2. We gotta change that price. Goodness gracious, $2. Y'all know we love you. All right, go ahead and get that resource. So those are the 5. All right, let's go through it one more time. And I definitely want y'all, if you're watching or listening, let us know which tip you think is the best, and you are going to take this back home to your marriage, to your loved one, to continue to pour in. Number 1, we have remember why you fell in love. Number 2, we have replace arguments with experiences. Number 3, we have activate the youth in you, forever young. Number 4, we have commit to not just your mates, but to their evolution. And number 5, last but not least, we have create a collective vision. All right, so Queen, what would be your favorite, the one that you think is the most important out of these 5?
Um, this is I'm gonna go with the one that I think is the most important. I'm probably gonna go with yeah.
Number he?
4 and 5 are hard. I think they're both really important.
They're both really important. They're also both, I think, parallel
Right.
to each other. I'm going with number 5, create the collective vision, because I think you can't create a collective vision with someone without being committed to their continual evolution as well. Right. So, I mean, I think if you have number 5 and you're doing number 5 correctly, number 4 will be automatic.
Yeah.
So collective vision, number 5, that's my favorite.
And just to be different, I guess I'll go with number 4, almost for the same reason. I feel like if you're both on a journey of personal growth, goals and vision, I think are inevitably a part of that. So I feel like either way, if you're doing these things, you should be addressing both. So I will go with number 4, commit not just to your mate, but to their evolution.
Greatness. So if y'all are listening, y'all watching, let us know which number or which tip you are vibing with. Ebony got a 4 out of 5. So, we'll keep going back to Ebony magazine, see what else they got. We appreciate the brand of Ebony, everything they've done for the community for sure. We'll continue to tap in. Now, Queen, yes. I want to shift over to some updates. I know usually you give the general lit update, but I want to know, how was your week? How was your month? How are you, Sinclair? Talk a little bit about the updates that are going on in your life from your perspective, briefly. I say briefly because the Queen can talk. I don't know if y'all know this. She thinks I'm the talker, but in real life, is her.
The problem is that I just don't articulate my thoughts as clearly, I believe. So I feel like you're just good at this is how I do it. Not to get sidetracked. My update. I will preface this update with that there is no announcement being had here at all. But I feel like my baby fever right now is real. We've seen a lot of babies in the past month. We visited.
Yeah, warm to the touch, y'all.
Yeah. So I'm really just I feel like we've had our timeline, and I am just realizing the time is going by very fast, and that, everything you think is oh, I got time, that's in the future, is coming up very quickly. And so, I'm just, I think for me, if y'all don't know, I'm 29, turning 30 in February.
If y'all don't know, how would they know that?
I don't know.
How would they know that?
They could be following me on my personal Instagram, where I have posted about how old I am on February 4th.
All right. Touche.
I was late this year, so it was more like February 8th or 9th. But long story short, turning 30 next year. And that, again, is very fast approaching. So I had to figure out what I'm doing for my birthday, and also just realize wow, I'm coming out of my 20s. That's crazy.
Congrats.
And I feel thank you. Just seeing, I feel like a lot of my friends, a lot of other people have already done it, and it's oh yeah, that's cool. It's another thing for me. It's just very surreal. That I'm wow, 20s, the roaring 20s. Everybody talks about back in my 20s, that's about to be me saying back in my 20s. That's wild. That's crazy. Shout out to whatever his name is. He was hilarious. But yeah, I just am really, really reflecting on okay, what does 30-year-old Sinclair look like? Because we need to start creating her now. You can't wait till you're 30 to start these things. So yeah, just really starting to soak in what does this next decade mean? And I think the 20s have been a lot of fun and living young and traveling and turning up and just enjoying life.
You did 20 pretty well.
I think so. There's not too much I would change if I would go back. I think we really did it well. Got married, right? Bought houses. I think we've set a really nice foundation for ourselves while still having fun. But I think 30s is going to look like more roots down, right? We've got our family house. So soon, we'll have the family to fill it. So yeah, I'm just, making all those types of preparations and really thinking about wow, what does my mom era look like?
Yeah. I want to let you know right now, in case you don't know, y'all, Sinclair is going to be the most beautiful, caring, dancing, and corny mom there is.
Facts.
It is going to be pure entertainment to watch the journey.
Oh, I know the babies love me.
Yes, babies do love you. Shout out to my nephew Adai, who has one of the most subtle, cute,
little smirks,
soul-piercing smiles we've seen
the eyes
on
and
a
that
baby.
smirk. It just
man,
gets you right there.
Oh, it's a very calm, wise baby right there. Now updates on my side. Sorry, actually, did you have more updates to give other than the fact that your baby fever is at all-time high?
It's hot in here. No, that's all I got.
That's all you got. I would say we just did a Play Black Wall Street workshop with Bakersfield College last weekend. And that was a good experience. I think, how many is that? Our first, if not, it's like been very few workshops that we've done side by side together.
That I've been that active in. Yeah, that's probably the first
one.
Yeah.
Okay. And how'd you feel? How'd you vibe with it?
I felt good. I felt like I've seen you present enough. Like I know your style. So it was like, okay, how do I still be myself, but like complement your style, not talk too much. So, I gotta definitely work on, like we talked about after, like being confident with what I'm saying and consistently confident. I tend to like start off strong and then like
exactly
right. So I need to work on like say it with your chest, beginning to end. But no, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I really enjoyed it. I think, I don't know, it was just a different energy, like we weren't technically on stage, but being on stage with you, going back and forth, sharing stories, being able to finish each other's stories or sentences or words was a really good vibe. So I'm looking forward to having more co-presentation workshops with you, co-facilitation workshop with you. Yeah, this is great. I mean, it was like travel, work, make an impact, but also earn money, all with your queen. Listen, you can't beat it. Copreneur lifestyle. Can't beat it. Really doing it. So of course, if y'all want to tap in with Play Black Wall Street, you want us to come to your church, your community organization, your school, definitely hit us up at playblackwallstreet.com. We have workshops focused on leadership, financial literacy, and Black history. Tap in with us. We're fun, we're engaging, and of course, we're young at heart. So at heart
in here.
In here. Right? So playblackwallstreet.com, hit us up for workshops. And then of course we have our 10-week long financial literacy mentorship program out here in Southern California, where we go through week 1, identifying a problem, all the way to week 10, building out a business solution to that community problem. So if you want us in your schools, also hit us up at playblackwallstreet.com and we can get it started. Queen, anything else before we end episode 175?
Crazy. That's crazy.
175.
We in here.
We did say that by episode 200, we would be millionaires. So that's 25 episodes from now. That's 25 weeks from now. That's 6 months from now. We have to make some moves. We gotta make some moves, y'all, to get to that $1 million race. No, what's the line? Finish line. There you go. Thank you, Sinclair. I did send it to me. But anything you want to add before we end episode 175?
No, I think this was good. It was like not too long, not too short, and I think we covered a good amount. I feel good about it.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hopefully, if y'all feel good, you can give us a like on this YouTube video. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, also give it a like and follow, please. And thank you. It helps this. Thank you for the thumbs up, Queen. That was great. It helps this video and podcast episode get to more and more ears that need to hear it. All right. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. Of course, my name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them. All of them. Wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.